Clay Travis, Buck Sexton show. We go up to the Bluegrass State now, where a Senate race is brewing. Mitch McConnell has announced that he is going to step down. Republicans are lining up to run, including our friend Daniel Cameron, former Attorney General of the great state of Kentucky. And before we get into the Senate campaign, it is March Madness. How much fun for people who have, and I know you're a football guy. I know you played football at Louisville, but how much fun for people who have not experienced Kentucky during college basketball tournament season is it with Louisville and also Kentucky, but certainly a lot of other schools that often make it, whether it's Murray State, some of the others. How crazy for basketball is Kentucky this time of year?
Oh, Clay, I mean, it is a wild atmosphere here. I mean, I've gotten invites to March Madness parties 4 and 5 months ago. I mean, this is the time in Kentucky for sports enthusiasts, in particular basketball enthusiasts. So yeah, it's gonna be wild, man. People take off work. People pull their kids out of school. Everybody's watching. They're tuned in to TV and all the different games that are happening. So it's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be crazy. I imagine that there's gonna be a lot of folks that are calling in sick to work for the tournament. That's for sure.
So, Daniel, thanks for being here with us. We know you're the former AG of Kentucky, and you're now a Senate candidate. What do you think would be the most important thing you could get done if you were to join in the next Senate group, the next time that Congress is seated, given what you've already seen from the Trump administration? Essentially, what are your top priorities? Why do you want to be the next senator from the great state of Kentucky?
Well, Buck, look, let me first say you and I will, obviously share this in common. I mean, we care about our kids, right? And congrats to you guys on the announcement that you just recently made. We care about the future for our children, and my wife and I want to see a colorblind society, a merit-based society, one in which we uproot diversity, equity, and inclusion and replace it with merit, excellence, and intelligence and integrity. That's something that is core to who I am, is fighting to preserve that colorblind society, fighting to preserve our constitutional rights, making sure that we secure our southern border. Look, I thought one of the best lines last night from the president was, it turns out we didn't need new legislation. We just needed a new president. I want to help the president continue to fulfill that commitment and promise to secure our southern border, because as a Kentuckian, I mean, we've seen what fentanyl does when it comes across a porous and unsecure southern border. It hurts our people in the heartland of this country. I want to help fight alongside President Trump and support the America First agenda on securing the southern border, unleashing our economy, unleashing crypto such that folks can, have an opportunity there, and then, again, preserving our constitutional rights and getting rid of DEI. And as someone who lives in a community and a economy that is fueled by fossil fuels, meaning coal and natural gas, we got to preserve that. We got to have an all of the above or across the board energy strategy, and I want to promote that to make sure that Kentucky and this country is maintaining our energy independence.
You live in a state that has a Democrat governor. Unfortunately, as I know you're not pleased of. But
right.
in that address, when Democrats refused to stand for a girl who had traumatic brain injury because she was playing against a man in volleyball, when they refused to stand for the family of Laken Riley, the family of Jocelyn Nungary, the wife of a murdered police officer, a kid, much less serious, but gets admitted to U.S. Military Academy. Mark Fogel, 95-year-old mom who was imprisoned. The son, Mark, was. Mom gets him out. Corey Compateri, the firefighter family, wife, 2 daughters there. What does it say about the Democrats and their political perspective right now that they lack the basic humanity to just stand and honor good American stories and heroes like that last night?
I mean, look, it was absolutely absurd and crazy. You think about the Kamala Harris-Tim Walz campaign. I mean, the Democrat members of the House and Senate have basically said, hold our beer, because we're going to do, what didn't work in the 24 presidential election. We're actually going to double down on that. We're not going to listen to the American people. We're not going to care about common sense and fair play in women's sports. We're not going to care about these deeply rooted American stories that President Trump presented last night when it came to DJ Daniel and the tragedy of Laken Riley and others that you mentioned. They couldn't stand for that. They couldn't stand to celebrate the greatness of America. They couldn't stand for these heartfelt stories that of people that have seen challenges and continue to persevere and are inspiring our nation in building that resolve. They couldn't stand for those things simply because, Clay, to your point, they're scared of the far left of their base. They're scared of being called out on social media. I mean, it's absolutely absurd. But what it ultimately does, it reveals the nature of who they are as Democrats in terms of the members of the House and Senate. It reveals who they are. So we saw that on full display last night. But we also saw a president that was completely in control of this vision of this country that is about unity. It's about protecting our southern border. It's about unleashing our economy and making it work for every American. That was the contrast that last night. And let me tell you, I couldn't be prouder to be a Republican and someone who wants to help President Trump enact his America First agenda.
We're speaking to Daniel Cameron, former Attorney General of Kentucky. He's running for Senate. I assume, I just always find this so interesting, Daniel. I assume that in your state it will be something similar to other red states where Democrats try to steal a Senate seat. Whoever you're going to run against on the Democrat side is going to basically tell everybody in Kentucky they're not really a Democrat, right? Is that your expectation? I know you don't even know necessarily who you're going to be dealing with, but how else could they win in a state like yours other than pretending, especially given where the Democrat Party is right now? I think it's at one of the lowest points in terms of overall favorability nationwide it has been in certainly living memory. So to run against you, is the person going to have to just say, I'm one of those Democrats who's not really a Democrat?
Honestly, candidly, Buck, I don't know what story they're going to be able to share because, what people in Kentucky care about, and President Trump won this state overwhelmingly. And what people here in Kentucky care about is, are you going to help support President Trump's agenda? And the Democrats, whether it's Bashir, who just 2 weeks ago sued Donald Trump, whether it's him or any other Democrat who, has aspirations of a different office, they're not going to be able to pass that litmus test because they have shown repeatedly that they oppose the Trump agenda, an agenda that I should say that the majority of Kentuckians value and support. And so, again, I don't know what they're going to do on that side of the ledger. What I know is that when it comes to, look, I was the first statewide elected office holder in Kentucky to endorse President Trump for re-election. I've been with him. I was fortunate enough to speak on his behalf in the RNC convention in 2020. I support the president and his agenda, and I want to stand up for the values and the men, women, and children of our 120 counties because, again, whether it's illegal immigration, whether it is the abuses of opioids that have come into this state because of a poor southern border, whether it's helping unleash our economy, these are things that my wife and I care about because we've got two little boys, and we want to make sure that this country is the best and greatest version of itself. If you talk about somebody wanting to help unleash the golden age or the golden era in America, that's me because I know that will ultimately benefit our kids.
Talking to Daniel Cameron running for the Senate in the state of Kentucky. You mentioned Trump and your endorsement of Trump. Do you expect for Trump to endorse in your race? And if so, what kind of time frame might that look like? I presume you will certainly be seeking his endorsement. What is that process like, and what do you anticipate?
Well, I certainly hope to earn his support and trust again. And obviously, that's a judgment and decision that he has to make. But in conjunction with that, it's getting out and talking to as many primary voters as I possibly can. Obviously, in a very crowded Republican primary for governor, I won that with nearly 50% of the vote. There have been 2 polls that have come out recently related to this Senate race. I'm just shy of 40% in both of those polls. I've earned the trust of a lot of voters here in Kentucky, and I say it's myself, my wife, and they've gotten to know our family and gotten to know a little bit of our story, and so we want to continue to keep that trust and relationship with the folks here in Kentucky, and it's been built out of the work that I did as Attorney General and standing up and fighting against DEI and ESG and trying to preserve constitutional rights. So these are things that are core to who I am. It's not just it's not a show for me. I believe in these things. I want to support the president's agenda, and I want to stand up for the folks in our 120 counties. And I believe that voters got to get to know the man and the family and all of those things. And my wife and I are committed to running hard in this race. We recognize there are about 15 months between now and the May primary in 26. But yeah, we want to earn. Heck, I want to earn y'all's support. I want to earn the voters' support. I want to earn President Trump's support. I want to unify the Republican Party such that we don't even have a primary. We get unified behind a candidate, get to that finish line of May of next year, and be ready to go into the general strong, such that outside groups aren't even having to focus on Kentucky. They can focus on Georgia. They can focus on other battleground states. And so my heart is let's get out and talk to as many people as we can. Let's share our message and our vision for what leadership looks like in the United States Senate, and again, let the chips fall where they may.
Daniel Cameron running for Senate in Kentucky. We'll be talking to you more about that as it goes along. And sir, you spoke about earning votes, including earning support and votes, including ours here. I've got one thing for you that you could help me out with that would certainly go a long way, okay? Clay and I are going head-to-head in a March Madness bracket. Who's going to win the whole thing? If you get this one right, I've got to support you no matter what for Senate.
Look. I'll either say it's an SEC school or ACC school. That way, I cover UK and U of L. How about that?
I'll take it. That'll narrow it down for me, because otherwise I'm doing coin flips myself on each. I have no idea. I don't even know who's in Division I basketball, so I'll figure it out as I go. But I appreciate the help.
By the way, so I'm expecting now, based on that answer, for the next Democrat left-wing newspaper headline to be Kentucky Daniel Cameron picks Duke to win title.
Well,
you win ACC. You tried to say Louisville, but you better say Duke's going to lose. You better make that clear.
I hope Pat Kelsey knows that when it comes to the ACC, I'm all about U of L. I hope my years of football playing there, folks know that when I say the ACC, I mean U of L. So, let's hope that U of L knows that.
Daniel Cameron, everybody. Daniel, thanks for being here with us. We'll talk to you again soon.
Hey, thanks, guys. God bless you.
So, recently I was able to take my little sister to the gun range. And you know why that was fun, guys? Because it was the first time. My brothers and I go all the time. My sister had never been to the gun range before. And I got to introduce her to Bear Creek Arsenal firearms. That's right. I've got my rifles, my pistols. Bear Creek Arsenal is simply the most affordable firearm you're going to find at this price point. So if you're looking for a combination of reliability and just unbeatable value, if you're looking for the value proposition, Bear Creek Arsenal, my friends, is what you need to go check out. I know the owners. I've been to their factory in Tennessee. You're going to love how you shoot at the range with Bear Creek Arsenal. The uppers, by the way, if you want to switch out the upper on your rifle, or if you want to switch out calibers on your rifle, go to bearcreekarsenal.com. That's bearcreekarsenal.com. Use my name, Buck, as your coupon code for 10% off your first order. bearcreekarsenal.com, promo code BUCK.